welcome back to another Coach's Corner. Chase the Horseman Horsley here alongside with our women's soccer team once again. We have head coach Anthony Longo. And Coach, you came away with two big wins this past weekend, and they were wins that were needed to kind of get you guys into postseason play. What did you see? What were the aspirations that you guys were able to get the job done this past weekend?
Yeah, we just talked about, backs are against the wall. You have to win both games. So I thought they came out on Saturday, played really well. Those are always as crazy as it sounds, the games you're supposed to win are always really the tough ones. We knew we were better. We knew that Trinidad was just struggling. They're in kind of a bad spot with coaching turnovers and all that. So just kind of to keep motivated and, go out and, to go beat a team you're supposed to beat, it can be very difficult. But girls came out, scored right away, and we pretty much were in control the whole time. So then it all came down to Sunday, and it was nice that we knew the scenario going in. We weren't waiting for results. We weren't waiting for score checking while we're trying to play. We knew what the stakes were going in, and I thought the girls played great. It was one of our better games for sure. So we scored early. I thought it took us a minute or two to get into the game,
right.
Just kind of get to the flow of it. You could tell there were some nerves, but we got a chance or two, and then we never really looked back. So, defensively, we did a really nice job. And then offensively, it was one of our better performances.
That's awesome. And, originally you guys were heading out to Rock Springs, have a 6-hour plus drive, heading on out there. Now you guys get a 2.5-hour drive. Mm-hmm. You get to play at Casper at Kelly Walsh. Tell us, how is that going to kind of change things for you? Obviously, you guys were planning for a 6-hour trip. Now you're planning for a 2.5-hour. What's that looking like for you guys?
Yeah, it's certainly the less drive time, which is always nice, less time on a bus. We'll get to the games late enough in the afternoon, they'll get to sleep in their own beds, which I think is going to be huge. We'll get them up. Instead of just burning time at the hotel, we're just wasting time, get to the field, we can sleep in, get them up a little bit early, but that drive time, we're heading there, and I think that'll make life, the travel aspect of it, the stress of it all a little bit easier. So, it's good. We're at this time. Anybody we play against is going to be good. So it doesn't matter. You can look through the 1 seed to the 6 seed. We're all good teams. It doesn't really change the mental aspect of things. You still have to show up. You still have to play well. But yeah, I'm not complaining about less driving.
Yeah, absolutely not. Well, this is two straight years that you guys have made postseason play. What does that say about the program that you have kind of built up?
I think the consistency is always good. It's a small sample size for sure. Only year 3. Obviously first year we really had no shot at making postseason. But the second year after we built it up, after we got that recruiting class in, that was always the expectation. So, it was nice. It was an accomplishment year 2. Now it's just an expectation. So, you would always love to finish higher, but we got in, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So, I think it shows that we're on steady ground. Now it's up to, obviously we want to continue to grow. The next step is win that quarterfinal game, and hopefully go further than that.
A lot of times when we've talked, you've kind of mentioned you guys were going through some injuries and that type of thing. Are you guys still going through the same ones? Are they back? Is everyone getting healthy for playoffs this week?
Yeah, the ones that are done for the year, unfortunately done for the year. We're not going to get them back. But I think the important thing of all that is we've shifted a few things in terms of how we play and what we want to do. And the girls have just embraced it. The girls have stepped up when needed. So you've asked girls to play in different positions. You throw them into games right away. A player goes down, all of a sudden you're shifting everything. It's very hard for players to kind of switch into that and, accept a new role and, responsibilities on the fly. But we've had a few weeks of training, and, that's just the reality of it. There's no, maybe she's coming back. I can, we'll get some reinforcements here or there. No, this is what we got. So players need to embrace it, and they really have.
No, and that's one of the big things is if you can embrace the adversity, that's when things kind of work in your favor a lot of times. That's kind of one of the things that all coaches always tell you, if you can work through this, you can get through the adversity. Well, when you talk about these players that, obviously out for the year, are they sophomores, are they freshmen? Will they have an extra year to play, maybe to try to play at least another year of soccer?
Yeah, the most of them are freshmen. The only sophomore, being Aubrey DeWine, transfer coming in. Unfortunately, it's only a two-year school. So her
Right.
education's pretty much going to be done in terms of getting her associates. So there's always those conversations. If I'll never kick her out the door by any means. If she wants
Right,
to
yeah.
come back, obviously we'd love to have her, and we'll make it work any way we can. But she'll probably get some offers, or at least if she's going to graduate, we'll help her find something to move on. Everybody else, yeah, they should be coming back. It's just a matter of they got to get the surgeries, they got to go through the rehab, get the confidence back, and that's what spring is for, to really get them. Not only get fit, but it's just confidence. It's a mental thing coming back from an injury. So we'll have a lot of time to work with them and get them right back in the lineup for a year too.
Something I'm kind of pondering now is, obviously we talk about 2-year university. You get your associates, you move on to the next. Have you ever seen a player, had a player, or maybe are they allowed to or not? Are they allowed to just go for 2 associate's degrees going back to back so then they can play all 4 years here? Or is it like a strict JUCO thing where you can only play 2 straight years?
You can only play 2 years total. So I've had players come in and do, they've been here for 3 years because, whether it's a medical red shirt, whether it's, eligibility issues type stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, if she wants to get a second degree, if you're a sophomore and you want to get a second degree, as long as you haven't played 2 years, we can, you gotta find some ways around it. But,
Right.
yeah, there's the potential to make it work is there.
So, hey, there you go. You might be able to get her to tuck in, but, obviously you want to go see her do bigger and better things and also go get the degree that she's kind of chasing for as well, too.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, that's what they're here for.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of girls I wish I could coach forever, but we're just a small stepping stone. So at the end of the day, it's you got to go find the next one.
Well, talking about girls that you want to coach forever, we've got 2 that we want to talk about. Tell us a little bit about one of them.
Yeah, start with the leadership. The sophomore leaders. Madden Walker. She's done really well this year. Again, one that battled injury. Kind of during that rough patch that we had. But has come back and has looked really great. The confidence is back. The attitude is back. Everything that we really like about her. So. What's been awesome about her is she's just really kind of embraced the new role. I don't want to say role, but she's been a facilitator more than a goal scorer this year, and that's really nice to see. So she's, I think, leading the country right now in assists. It helps when we've got the number 1 and number 4 goal scorer in the country to work with. So players, they have to show up in different ways, and Madden hasn't taken a back seat by any means to them. She's a big piece of everything, but she's just really found her spot on the field. Being able to distribute a little bit better, and she's deadly on corner kicks. We've scored a lot of goals off that, and she's racked up some pretty good assists there. So we'll never complain about players putting up points, going into the year. She was one we had circled as going to be one of the leading goal scorers, but she's facilitating, and that's all you can ask for as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Caitlin, Carol on the back line, she's been awesome all year too. I will say she was one of the players that I probably recruited the hardest in my time. Spent a long time recruiting her, a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, but she's been everything we expected, and more importantly, the confidence has grown. She came in and she was a good defender, did the role, but it was the confidence and, kind of the freedom back there was one thing that we talked about a lot of, you're out there. If you read the play and you want to go get involved in the attack, do it. We can always correct mistakes on film and all that, but it was always, kind of playing tight, not wanting to make mistakes, not wanting to, get up too far or whatnot, and then all of a sudden she figured it out. The confidence has grown, and she's been one of the better defenders we've had in the region.
That's awesome. Well, we'll talk with Madden coming up after this. We'll be right back here with more of the Coach's Corner. And welcome back to Coach's Corner. Now we're joined with Madden Walker, and Coach basically kind of gave you like a praise out the wazoo right there. What's some of the things that you kind of took away from all the stuff he was saying about you?
No, it's definitely an honor to hear that from him because he's my coach. I look up to that, and what he says, I take that to heart, honestly. So it's like good to hear all that stuff from him.
It's always good when you can have a coach that's just like peps you up, hypes you up ready before you're about to go on the show, right?
For sure.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I see you're from Denver, Colorado. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I've been playing soccer since I'm probably 5 years old. I played basketball also, but soccer was something I wanted to pursue more. Thought I was better at soccer too. And then I knew I wanted to play in college. So came here, definitely was my top choice to come here.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely when I came here on my visit, I thought it was like home right away. I was like, I think this is where I want to go. So yes, this is my second year here, and I love it here. So
this was number one out of everything.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to come here.
Yeah.
What made you want to come here?
All the coaches, obviously, they were a big part of it. And then also the facilities are so nice, nicer than any other schools I visited. So I was like, this is nice. And then it's not too far away from home. It's like far enough, but close enough. I'm like 5 hours away. So yeah.
It's far enough that your parents still have to drive up to see, but they can't come up every single day.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
and you probably enjoy that a little bit.
Yeah, they come up every single game, so that's nice. But like, it's nice to see them. So it's like it's good. They come up, and then when I don't have games, they're not here. So it's like.
It's like free will. So you're like on
exactly.
your own, but when they're there for games, you're like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to get this for me for food? You
Exactly.
know? Yeah, so it works out.
Yeah.
So, well, when you kind of look at the facilities, obviously here, what's one of the biggest things that, I mean, obviously you say coaches, but if a recruit was watching right now, what's the main thing that you would say about this university that you would like them to come?
Well, the field is very nice. I feel like a lot of schools like that I looked at, they play on football fields. And so just like here, it's just a soccer field. So I feel like it's very nice. We have our own soccer field. We have the nice locker rooms. Then another part of the dorms are very, very nice. So I'm in the apartments this year, and they're amazing, honestly.
Really?
They're like, yeah. I'm with all my roommates and like on my team, so it's very nice.
Does it kind of feel like a family bond?
For sure. Yeah, 100%.
Now, obviously, outside of soccer, have you been able to connect with a lot of friends, maybe through classmates, and throughout your years here so far?
Yeah, in my classes, there's not many people, but there's a bunch of college athletes here. Everyone is, not everyone, but a lot of people are athletes. So I'm friends with a lot of the volleyball girls. They're a lot in my classes, so I get along with them. So that's very nice too, to have other friends in my soccer team, because we are very close, but having more friends.
Having that connection with other teams is probably a lot better. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, some of the things that you guys have done this year have been awesome. I mean, one, I'm talking about you being the assist leader, being the top in the nation, not even just in the state or anything like that. What has prepared you so much to really kind of push to that type of goal? Was it a goal that you set very beginning of this year, like, we're going to do this, this is what we need to do?
Well, obviously last year I was the top goal scorer last year, so I was like, kind of coming into this season, I'm like, well, obviously I want more goals, but that hasn't happened because I've been having assists this year, which I feel like assists is...
You're being a team player, that's how you want to put it.
No, but also I feel like the freshmen that came in this year are very, very good, especially Amber and Lexia. They're at the top with me, and I just love giving them my balls, honestly, because I know that I trust them, I know they'll finish them, and they have, because they're the top goal scorers, so...
So it just kind of works. I mean, the top goal scorers there, you just kind of pass the trait down. Basically, you're passing the torch. So did you teach them any of your tricks?
No.
No?
They're just talented.
They're just so talented. Man, that's awesome. Well, obviously, road trip was to Rock Springs. Now you guys get to go to Casper. What does it mean as a player to actually get to just play around here instead of having to drive all the way out into the boondocks?
No, for sure. I think traveling, farther, it sucks, but knowing that we only have to go 2 hours now is definitely a relief and definitely puts a lot of not really stress on us now. We actually get to stay here, then leave in the morning, and then I feel like that will make us feel a lot better as a team. So.
You know, you look at the 2 games that you guys just won, they were pretty big games. You had to win them just to make the postseason. What were conversations to your teammates like? Was anyone kind of like, oh, hey, I don't know if we're going to do this? Or was everyone kind of like high hopes? Were there any conversations that you ended up having with your teammates?
I feel like it was a lot of high hopes, which is really nice to see and hear, because obviously we all want to win. So I was talking to my teammates, and we're kind of talking about like, oh, does Otero have to win too? Like, kind of just like that talk. And I'm just like, honestly, we just have to worry about ourselves and step up, and we did, which was amazing. So.
Kind of felt like you just shut down the noise. You're just
exactly.
like, we just win 2, we're in. We don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah, we don't have to worry about anyone else except for ourselves. So, and I feel like my teammates were like, yeah, let's just do it, and we did it. So it was nice. You
know, and you didn't just do it. You like absolutely blew the brakes off of these teams. They won 8-0, and then you won 7-1. I mean, when you look at that, what was the bench different from previous games, or was everyone just like, all right, we're going to go score as many as we can so we don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think, like, I knew I wanted to beat Otero. I was like, I had the confidence that we were going to beat them, but if I'm being honest, I didn't think we were going to beat them by that much. So I don't really know, but I just feel like we all just came together as a team and just bonded, and we got it done.
So obviously, you guys knew what you guys were playing for on Sunday. Once you guys won, did you guys go celebrate? Did you get like, did you go grab like a quick dinner or something? What were the eat vibes afterwards?
Well, I went with my parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that kind of, but the bus ride was fun.
Yeah, the bus ride was fun.
Well, the boys lost, so that wasn't very fun, but we had fun. They were kind of downers, but we had fun.
Because they won one and then lost the other, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was, and they had to win both too to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy when both of you guys traveling the same spot. One gets in, one doesn't. I guarantee you the vibes on the bus were not fun.
Yeah, not for them, but it was for us. So
yeah, did you guys get the front of the bus or the back of the bus? All the girls in the front?
All the guys are on one side and all the girls are on this side. So
there's a party on this side, and everyone probably has headphones and watching a movie on this side.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome. Well, who would you say this year has been maybe like the team comedian?
Probably Addie, the goalie. I feel like she always brings the vibe up. She's always making everyone laugh. She's always tricking everyone. I feel like she like tries to make us think everything, and we're like, are you serious? And she's like, no. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So probably Addie. Yeah, I love Addie, yeah.
Is there any like joke or anything that she's told you ever before that's appropriate that you could enlighten us with?
She says so many things. But I just feel like she always tries to trick the freshmen. Like, we're always saying, like, oh, coach is going to make us run today or something like that, and she just goes with it. And so they're all freaking out the rest of the day, and then she's like, no, I'm just kidding. So
I bet they probably are more frustrated in that sense. They're like, all right, this is getting annoying. But how many times does she does it? Like, she does it probably quite often. You would think the freshmen would kind of catch on, right?
Nope, they never do.
Never do. That's crazy. That's funny. Well, before we get you out of here, obviously, Casper coming up, it's not going to be the easiest matchup, but it's going to be one that, you know, we've kind of talked a little bit. This could be a really good matchup for you guys. What are you wanting to see from this team? Obviously win, but what would be some keys to your game that can really propel you guys over the top?
I think just coming together like we did this past weekend, having a bond like that, I feel like that gets us wherever we want to go, honestly. So just coming together, working as a team, not getting down on each other. If we are down, build each other back up. So I just feel like working as a team is really going to help us this weekend.
Absolutely. And of course, we got to ask my fun question. What's your pregame snack, pregame drink that you love to have before each match?
I have a Red Bull, and then I also have Gushers every single game.
Red Bull and Gushers.
Yeah.
What kind of Red Bull are we talking?
Just the original.
Just the original? The OG? Wow, you're the first one that said the OG.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I've had coconut, I've had mango, I've had all the different
Yeah,
flavors.
just original.
Just original. And is there a favorite gusher, or are they just all the gushers you just pop them in your mouth?
The tropical pack.
The tropical
Yeah.
pack?
Have one every single game.
Interesting.
Yep.
Does it like just bring you like a spurt of energy?
I don't know. Maybe it's something just like a superstition, honestly, but
When did you start doing that?
well, I usually kind of like to have like a candy or something before every game. But now I just got gushers this year, so I'm just like, now I have to have gushers every single time.
So the gushers are this year thing. Man, I
Yeah.
was thinking that was like back in like
No.
high school or something.
Just this year.
It's kind of crazy. I
know,
didn't
it's
even
weird.
think gushers were still a thing anymore. Because I haven't heard people like that was the snack of everyone. Like everyone loved gushers back in high school, and I did not, but everyone loved them. And now it's like I barely hear about them.
yeah.
So interesting.
I don't
That's
know.
awesome. Well, best of luck
Thank you.
in postseason play.
Thank you.
Awesome. Once again, that's Madden Walker. We will be back. We'll be back with Coach Anthony Longo coming up after this. And welcome back here to Coach's Corner, back here with head coach Anthony Longo. And coach, you just heard from Madden Walker. And then first off, has she gotten you to try the gushers? Have you had the gushers before? We got to know.
Oh, I've had gushers plenty of times before.
Do you like them?
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
I
Are
think
they
so.
the tropical ones that you like, or the
Nah,
regular
just
one?
the regular's good.
The regular?
Yeah.
Does it give you energy or a spurt, or are they just a nice fruitful snack?
No, it's just something to distract you on a long bus ride. Yeah.
I mean, that's understandable. All the way through. What's the furthest place you guys traveled this year?
I mean, on paper it's Arizona, but that was, we were able to fly down there, so it wasn't too long of a trip. But this last weekend was the longest.
This last weekend was?
Down to Trinidad and La Junta. It's an 8-hour trip.
8 hours, yeah, goodness. If you wouldn't have flown to Arizona, it probably would have been like 18, maybe 19?
Probably 18 to 20
18,
at least.
20 hours.
It would have been a long one.
Yeah, I drove to California and it was about 18 hours. Yeah, no, not fun.
It's too much. Yeah, it's too long in the car.
It's so much, yeah. And you guys would have been in a bus, so it would have been a lot worse
Yeah,
for you guys.
for
So
sure.
we talk 18, 20, that's in a car. So now you're looking at 21, 22
Yeah,
hours.
easily.
Easy, just on the moments. But well, that's awesome. Well, obviously, everything's kind of working out to the point where you guys want it to. You had put on a little bit of a winning streak right now, obviously, with the 2 wins this past week. Now you go to Casper. Is there anything different that you've seen that the team is doing?
Confidence. I mean, it's hard to go through losing streaks. It can snowball in one direction or the other. You lose a game, or if you have a bad weekend, then you're dwelling on it all practice. And no matter what, the girls, even if they're working hard, there's still you're still coming off losses. So on the flip side, you have that. We had a great weekend, 2 weekends ago at home. You're coming off 2 wins, and then everybody's less tired. There's less fatigue. The energy's a lot higher. So it's just getting the confidence back. I mean, that was a really tough 5-game stretch. The schedule didn't do us any favors playing all those teams right in a row. So, and that was at a time we were trying to figure out where we were going to go with, we were battling injuries, moving things around. So it's just confidence. You can tell, I think, when you look at the midfielders and the attack, the forwards, just looking on the attacking side of things, they're running at players, and that's the easiest way to tell. They're feeling themselves, they're confident, they want to score. They've got that little ego to them again, and then you can even talk about on the back line, they're stepping a lot better. We're not dropping. Every time the other team's attack and trying to build, we're up pressed. So it's just confidence all over the field, and that goes a long way.
Well, speaking of confidence, let's talk with Caitlin Carroll. Tell us a little bit about what her role has been for the team so far.
Yeah, she's been, easily our most steady defender. She plays on the right side as an outside back. She's a player that, gets the ball a lot. We ask a lot out of her on the offensive side of things. So, said earlier before, I know she's a great defender. I've seen her enough. I wasn't worried about her coming in, understanding what we want on the back line, being able to defend the better players in this region. The confidence, that we had in her as a coaching staff, that never changed. And it's only grown on the defensive side of things. But it's the attacking side of play that we really ask a lot out of those outside backs. So, she's just up and down. She gets the ball, she goes forward. She's able to distribute very well. So she's been one of the very consistent players that we've had back there, because we've had to rotate a lot in there. To battle injuries and replace them there. She's one. She's been steady for us.
Absolutely. Well, we'll talk with Caitlin coming up after this timeout.
What are you arguing? Yeah, he gets paid for this. He's gonna make the right calls, but I couldn't give a crap. Like in no world do
And welcome back here with Coach's Corner. Chase the Horseman Horsley here alongside now with Caitlin Carroll. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm from Utah, South Jordan area, and I've been playing soccer since as long as I can remember. I did have to choose between dance and basketball, but let's just say I'm not the best dancer. So soccer definitely was the best choice for me, but yeah. I'm glad because it led me to where I am now.
So what made you want to come here to Gillette and come play soccer?
Yeah, so starting off with the recruiting process, me and my mom were figuring it out because it is a crazy world out there.
Yes.
But this was our first tour. We came out here and my mom was like, there's no way that you're going to choose the first school that you tour. That's just not how it works. But no, I came. I loved it. I loved what I saw. I loved what I felt. And I did go tour other places, but there was always just a few things that were I don't know if that doesn't feel right, but here just always felt right.
So everything just kind of felt, and I kind of feel like that someone just kind of pushed you and said, hey, this is where you're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously you probably love playing on an actual soccer field.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Has it been different? So in Utah, do you guys normally play on turf field too, or do you guys normally play on grass?
High school we play usually on football fields, but with club we play on some pretty crappy grass fields. So it is definitely a step up. So.
Definitely probably played in some of those grass spots that maybe had some potholes down at the bottom. Yeah. How many times did you have to watch one so you didn't break your ankle or something?
Yeah, definitely had to watch out. And there was one game that something came out of nowhere and grabbed me, I swear, and I fell down. I don't know what it was, but the grass monsters got me.
Instead of the turf monster, guys, it's the grass monster.
Grass monsters.
I love it. Well, obviously, you're working, you're doing what you got to do here with the Pronghorns. What's something that coaches kind of talked with you about, maybe that's kind of elevated your game to the next level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have definitely been a player that receives the ball and then quickly looks for just to get off my feet, build it up. But coaches talked to me that he is has the confidence in me to be able to take it up myself and see what other options I have other than getting it off my foot quickly, and it's really helped me to see what a type of player I can become, and I've definitely grown since.
It's always nice when you can learn different things about your game that you didn't know about yourself, in those aspects. Well, obviously in high school, you talked a little bit about how you've kind of grown up playing soccer. I'm going to guess you were probably 3-4 years old starting playing soccer. Yeah, all the way through. That's how I was when I started playing t-ball for baseball. And so it's just kind of one of those things that you kind of grow with. Is there anything your high school coaches have kind of told you that has kind of resonated with you?
Well, my high school coaches weren't really the best, but
so no, okay.
this is where it turns. Let's just say that coming here was a big decision for me because the coaches helped me make this decision because they were really good. So I went off terrible high school coaches that made me want to quit soccer to amazing coaches that have helped me find my love for the game again.
You know, I 100% agree and understand that because when I was in high school, I played baseball, or I was in middle school, played baseball, and then the middle school coaches ruined baseball for me. And so I didn't play in high school. And now I miss the game like crazy.
Yeah.
So I became a broadcaster and I get to broadcast the game. So it kind of works in catch-22 on that. So I fully understand in those situations. Well, talking about the 2 games that you guys just won, because obviously those are big games. I mean, that was what kind of propelled you to the postseason. Was there anything different that you did as a player to help your team out?
Well, definitely on the Otero game, I just took in a deep breath and just said, we're here to play. Like, we need to win this, but we know we can. Let's just get out there and play like how we know how to play. And I feel like a lot of my teammates were the same way. We definitely came together and started playing. So I thought it went really well.
What degree right now are you kind of studying for, trying to get to? Obviously you got 2 years here for your associates, and when you kind of look further past, what are you kind of looking for?
So right now I'm working towards my associates in health science, and both my parents are in the medical field, but I'm kind of squeamish with needles and blood and stuff, but I still really want to help people, so I'm going to work towards physical therapy, sports medicine area.
Nice. So you kind of want to be an athletic trainer. Nice. No, that's awesome. You mentioned PT. My friend, he is a PTA. He's not a PT yet, so he's working his way to be a PT, but that's really cool. I mean, getting to work in the field. I thought I always wanted to be a doctor, and then now here I am interviewing people. So it's just kind of one of those things. You want to help people in different ways, and it kind of works like that. So do your parents, you say they're in the medical field, are they doctors, nurses?
Yeah, so my dad is a nurse practitioner. He works with cancer patients, and then my mom she works a desk job, but she used to be a mom baby, a nurse baby.
A nurse baby. That's awesome. No, that's really cool. I've never actually, we meet people that, work in the medical field, but a lot of times the mom and the dad don't. It's just one or the other that do. So that's super really cool. Tell them thank you for working in the medical service for me, because that's awesome. But what would be your favorite hobby or something that you love to do besides soccer? Because I know you love soccer now. But tell us a hobby. Maybe it's singing, maybe it's acting, maybe it's dancing. I mean, what do you like to do?
Yeah, I'm more on when I'm not hanging out with my friends and being crazy. I'm more on the quiet side. So I love watching movies and snuggling up with a blanket and reading a good book. So that's the type of person I am. Yeah.
When you're not with your friends and being crazy,
Yes,
it's a book or a movie?
It's definitely two.
Do you have a certain movie that you always draw yourself to, or you always try to watch new ones?
I always try to watch new ones.
What's the coolest, newest movie that you've seen so far?
The new Superman movie was pretty good. But
I don't know if I've seen. I haven't seen that one yet. I saw the new Fantastic Four.
yeah, I need to see that one.
That one's really good. That one's good. So is there a favorite book genre that you like to read too?
Yeah, I'm just the basic romance.
The rom-coms,
Yeah,
all
rom-coms,
the
yeah.
things.
Sometimes murder mystery,
Murder mystery.
sprinkle in a few genres there.
Is there any do you do a Halloween spooktacular book or something in a Halloween theme vibe?
Yeah, right now I'm reading Stalking Jack the Ripper, so that's.
And so do you start at October 1 and you're just I gotta finish this by the 31st?
Yeah.
How long is the book?
It's only 700 pages.
She says only 700 pages. I could read 10. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Well, when you look at your team, we'll get back to some soccer. When you look at your team this year, what has been maybe an identity that you have seen that you would probably relate this team to?
I would relate this team to just hard work, because we do go through a lot of hard days, but we work hard to get back to where we need to be and where we can be.
So Casper having this one in Kelly Walsh, gonna be a fun time. Obviously 2 hours away. I bet you're pretty excited about that one. No long bus ride, especially after the last one you just came off of.
Oh, yeah.
What would that have done to you for like, was it like a fatigue thing that if you guys would have had to go to Rock Springs, how do you think that would have went down?
Well, I am a pretty tall player, so like the bus rides are not very comfortable for me. My legs do cramp up really easily when I'm on those bus rides, so it would take a lot more like walking around after we get off, like trying to like regain our legs back before playing. But with this game, we will have a shorter bus ride, so it'll be a lot easier for us.
It's nice not having to back-to-back 6 hour, 8 hour drive, you know, in that situation. So 3 quick keys that you guys are going to need to really focus on to get the job done on Saturday.
We just need to stay with each other, especially on defense, and then we need to play confident and with each other, and we need to be able to go out there and just want to score.
Absolutely. Well, obviously you're not getting out of here without me knowing what your pregame snack, pregame drink, what do you normally get before a match?
You know, I usually just pull out an applesauce and a peach body armor. That's what I go to.
An applesauce, like one of the Go Squeezes, or?
Yep.
Nice. Do you do like because they have like the energy ones now or something? Like, yeah, they're actually really good.
Okay,
I've
well,
had
I need
them
to
quite
try
a bit.
that.
No, so they're down there in the kids section, but they're really good, and they actually have some pretty good energy. And then you said peach, just peach body armor, or is it peach mango?
Peach mango body.
Peach mango. Yeah, you and everyone else here, everyone I've interviewed, from the volleyball team to y'all, it's been peach mango. That's like the overall flavor of body armor.
It
So
is good.
it's good. How many of those do you normally drink?
Well, with practices, probably like 1 a day.
1 a day. Okay, that's not bad. So at least it's not an addictive habit, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome, Caitlin. Well, I appreciate your time, and best of luck coming up on Saturday.
Thank you.
Awesome. More Coach's Corner, wrapping things up here with Coach Longo heading up after this. And welcome back here to Coach's Corner. We're going to wrap things up here with head coach Anthony Longo again for women's soccer. And coach, I mean, you've now heard from Caitlin, and you heard some things that maybe are keys that you guys really need to focus on. What were maybe like pinpoint some of those keys that she kind of talked about to get the job done this week?
Well, you got to start out strong. You know, you have to be confident. When you're on the road, you have to, you never go into a game trying to just bunker down and, all that. We don't want to defend for 90 minutes, but you got to survive the first 5 or 10, especially in the postseason. You can't win a game in 10 minutes, but you can absolutely lose a game in the first 10. So, you have to battle the emotions. You got to get your head on straight. You got to, usually in postseason, the men and women's team are playing on different days. So when you're on the road, the other teams are going to be there. They're going to be cheering, the home team on. The fans probably have a few more fans than we will there. So you have to get used to the environment very, very quickly. So you have to start out strong. You got to limit mistakes. You maybe don't take a chance or two early on. So, obviously you got to weather the first 5 to 10 minutes. I think we need to score first. We're a team that really does play on confidence, and again, confidence can go one way or the other. If you that little lack of confidence, you get scored on, then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now we're playing from behind. We're a little bit tighter. There's a little bit more panic. So I think every game that we've won this year, we've scored first. Every game that we've lost, we've gotten scored on first. So it's just one of those groups that they play better with the more confidence that they have. So I think just the final key again is just confidence. Like we can play with them. I thought we gave up two goals early in the regular season matchup to them, but then I thought we played great for about 65, 70 minutes. I thought we did a lot of really good things. We just, we weren't at a full team at that point. And that was the game we decided to kind of switch things around a little bit. So, the confidence has grown since then. It just needs to be, it's a brand new season, whether we're the 6 seed, 3 seed, number 1 seed. It's all brand new now. Everybody's got a different life. Everybody's got probably a little bit more confidence to them because they know they made the postseason. So I think this last weekend will go a long way to help that because our season was on the line. We had to play 2 straight games of if we lose, we're done. So that's going to help the nerves a little bit. We've been here before. It's at the end of the day, it's just a soccer game. Our backs have been against the wall for a while now. So, I really do expect good things out of them, and we'll certainly work hard this week and get them up to speed on the soccer side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously there's so much involved just coming up with this week and then last week, and then it just kind of felt like everything has just been kind of like paralleling into this, hopefully storybook run. But then the one thing that people also, may not realize is there's no ties. You have to go through one, you do your extra time, do all that, but then your shootouts. I mean, when you kind of look in that scenario, in those kind of situations, what would be kind of the main big part in like when you're really trying to get focused for that type of situation?
Well, we like to, the last couple weeks of the season, we've been working on them here and there. It's just reps, it's doing it in practice. We always try to do things to where, if we are practicing penalties and all that, there's stakes to them. The players, we divide them up into teams and we do it, as professionally as possible, like a real world situation. And there's punishments at the end if you don't win. You can't. It's something where you can't mimic it in practice. You have to try to create the environment the best you can. But you just want it's just confidence. You want them to go in, and you don't want them to you want them to know exactly where they want to go. And there's no second guessing at all. They're going to go in, they're going to shoot, they're going to score, and they're going to jog back to half field. So it's it's certainly something we'll be prepared for. But I always want to be the coach that let's just finish it in 90 minutes and move on.
Speaking of finishing it in 90 minutes, I know you probably thought I forgot, but I did not. You got your 100th win as a coach, and first off, just walk me through the emotions of that game.
You try not to think about it. I know we were up pretty big at the time, but you never, I think the big adjustment for any of the players coming in here is there's a standard. Winning 1-0 when you can win 4-0 isn't good enough. I think it was a game that pretty quickly we knew we were going to win, but you never want our standards to drop. So it's just making sure that they continue to play. I truthfully going into the season, I didn't even know it was that close. It's not really something that I think some coaches probably keep track of it, but a lot of them really don't. So I did know that my wife and Maggie being the marketing director and the AD, I knew they were cooking something up. They had some type of plan because they kind of asked about it, and AD Rayback was very good about it. She said, hey, are we telling people? Is this a big deal leading up to it? It's like, no, we just need to win. At the end of the day, that's what it was. So it was nice. I think it was cool. This is an awesome group to get it with. Just the ups and downs of the season. It was a good group that I got to experience it with. But it was also very cool hearing from former players. Awesome. From the first couple years. To come back and just say congrats and just remembering all the old players. So no, it was very cool. It was nice. It's nice to get it done, and now there's no.
Now you got 200.
Yeah,
coming, right?
I think 250 might be the next accomplishment. So no, it's good. At the end of the day, it's just you're just hyper focused on just getting the job done. When you know that a game's in hand, you want to get players out with no injury. And like I said, you just don't want the standards to ever dip. So. It was a relief for sure.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. I mean, when I got to see it, and I wasn't able to be at the game, but when I saw the post or, I got the message, I was just like, that's awesome. I was like, I was pretty excited, especially for you because, I've talked with you last year a little bit and I've talked with you this year and you've kind of set a standard and each and every single time you talked about it, you were kind of trying to achieve certain goals. Do you think a lot of those goals have started to kind of mesh together? Do you think they're starting to get there, or do you think there's still more that you want to achieve?
As a program as a whole, or
Yeah.
just this year? Oh, definitely. We want to win the region. That's what everybody is shooting for. Whether that's in the regular season, we're still alive for postseason. But it's not play for national tournament. One of those berths. Can we get to the national tournament? It wouldn't be for the first time since the restart. They made it a few years ago. So. It's always just continuing to grow. You just want to see the development, and I think this year we absolutely have in terms of the talent and the players that we're bringing in. We've got a lot of really good ones in here. Goals are certainly being hit. Obviously the postseason this year, after we did it last year, it's, moving forward, it's an expectation. So obviously the next accomplishment would be to either win the regular season and then win the conference tournament. So we're still alive for that this year, and that's the next big goal to check off.
So I got a couple more questions. This one might be a little sentimental for you, but what does it mean coaching here?
I think the interesting thing and something that's different from jobs in the past is that it's mine. I restarted it from the ground, and that was certainly one of the challenges that to embrace and all that. So it's very cool to see, that first year, the team that we had, obviously the record wasn't great, but seeing those players move on to where we are now, to where we were challenging all the best teams and all that. So, it means a lot. They obviously to be able to be trusted to completely restart a program. It's good. The expectations are high. From Gillette as a whole. Whether that's the administration, whether that's the fans, the community and all that. It's nice to be in a place where there is that pressure. Because otherwise, you're just going through the motions. You want it to mean something. So it's nice. The support is very good. The crowds have been growing more and more every year, and the fan support on social media and all that. So it is very cool. I think we do, like I said, tell every recruit, tell the players that we have a good thing going. But just not to be content, because there's an awful lot more goals that we can go accomplish.
Absolutely. And then obviously, final question here. Casper coming up. And then obviously you want to play for more. But big things that you really want to focus on as a coach, being on that sideline and trying to really help your team out for the win this weekend.
I think it's keeping the emotions positive. We tell them all the time, like, it's not. There's stakes to this, whether that's the first game of conference or, going into the postseason. There's stakes, there's pressure. You have to play under pressure. You have to embrace it, and you got to find ways to deal with it. So, I think on my side, it's, keeping the environment very positive. If we're absorbing pressure and, we're on our back foot, making tweaks here and there, but it's letting them know that we're still in it. If things are going well, it's to stay positive, make sure that we can continue to keep that pace up. So we do have some really good sophomore experience, but we rely on freshmen a lot as well. So it's their first taste of it. Some have come from very good high schools, some have come from not so good high schools. Club. There's all kinds of different environments that players have played in, but it'll be their first time. So it's just making sure that they're staying focused and not getting distracted. That was the big talk before we go into Otero. 2 years ago. The whole environment was a clown show there. The fans were awful. The environment was awful, and that's just something that you have to deal with. So, Casper will have a good crowd. They'll probably have the men's team there cheering them on. It's going to be, a hostile environment. So it's keeping them focused. Just try to drown everything out. Just listen to the coaching staff voice, listen to each other, and drown everything else out. So it's just keeping the environment positive, keeping making sure everybody's working.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we appreciate you, and congratulations once again on 100 wins.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was good.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it here for Coach's Corner. Once again, from head coach Anthony Longo to Chase the Horseman Horsley, we will see you guys next time.